Welcome to Edge of Illumination. It is Renee. So today we are going to react to something I really don't want to react to, but I kind of do. This Andrew Wilson clip. So I made a video last year about Wes Watson and his meltdown he had in front of a bunch of people. Now, I was a big Wes Watson fan in 2021. I was probably one of the few female fans. He used to post every single morning fitness related content, motivational stuff at like 5:30 a.m. I was always up and I'm like, this is perfect. And he had some really inspirational stuff, made you want to go work out, made you want to, eat right and all that stuff. Then he started getting a little weird and I stopped listening to it. And a few years later, check through, I'm like, oh yeah, I used to listen to that guy. What has he posted? And then I was like, man, this guy's gotten really strange. And like a day or two later, he did the meltdown thing at the Fresh and Fit event. So I tried to make it very clear in the video. I don't know if he had a bad dose or whatever of whatever he's taken that day. I don't know. But he was acting very strange. But he's made some good stuff. He's one of those content creators that I never really shared too much because his backstory is so bizarre. People might be like, what? Why do you listen to that? But for fitness and motivation, he did some good stuff. But I listened to like a wide variety of different people. So anyways, when I watched the Fresh and Fit thing, I was not familiar with anybody on that stage. Maybe Bandman, I think his name is. And the other people I maybe heard a thing or two about, but I didn't really know about them. I don't watch that type of stuff, right? Andrew Wilson, the way that he presented himself in that debate against Wes, I thought he handled it really well at the time. He presented himself one way, and I thought, okay, maybe this is like an upright, sensible values or whatever. And then I think it was this year, a couple months ago, there was a clip of him debating this really young guy, and he was talking about, in response to, I think, the Shannon Sharp thing, this is Andrew Wilson, that he thinks it's cool if a man that's like 60 years old is with a 18-year-old girl or an underage girl or something weird like that. And I hated that clip. I didn't like the way he talked to the young guy. I didn't like his argument. The whole thing was just, I didn't like it. And I was like, wait, hold up. Is that the same guy, Andrew Wilson, the one I was giving all the compliments to for the way that he handled Wes in the clip? And I'm like, oh man, it's like he morphed into a worser version than Wes Watson. Like, Wes improved. Like, a little bit. I watched a couple of things after the Fresh and Fit meltdown. He did I watched like 2 or 3 videos. He like spent some time with his mom. He's, trying to start, get married again and do all this like positive stuff. And it seemed like he was a bit more grounded and balanced. And I'm like, hopefully, he'll go back to the old Wes at some point or whatever. But this other guy like morphed into like a worser version than Wes. And it was really dark and I didn't like it at all. And I was like, oh man, I still have that video up where I'm giving him compliments. And so that really triggered me because I got so upset, to be honest with you. I took the video down. That was one of my better performing videos. I took it down. I just put it back up like a week or so ago. That video was down for months because I'm like, I don't feel like going through and re-editing this. I don't feel like going through and explaining this. This guy, I don't like him. And the fact that I even gave a couple of compliments, like, oh, this seems like a really positive person or whatever. I was like, dude, I'm just going to take the video down. So I just put it back up, but whatever. That's the thing about content creators sometimes. It's kind of like politicians. It's like, you may be rooting for them, like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And then they'll say something or do something to where you're like, oh man. So a viewer asked me to react to this clip of Andrew Wilson. I already feel like I've been like bracing myself. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this clip. I don't know if I'm going to I don't like Andrew Wilson. Just from that little snippet I saw, I'm like, I don't like this dude. But I will watch it and I'll respond as honestly as I can. So, as you know, I have a very unique background in a bunch of stuff. I've got a degree from UCLA in sociology. I've got a bunch of degrees in behavioral science and teaching, and, I do music. I do a lot of stuff. But I try to stay away from the negativity. However, this might be interesting, so we're just going to watch a couple of minutes because I feel like that's all I'll be able to stomach without getting annoyed. I also want to say I've heard a lot of things about this podcast that we're going to react to, and I've never watched this before. I've never even watched a clip of this podcast before. The things I have heard were not positive. So we're going to watch about 2 minutes. I'm going to react to it. I'll let you know what I think. These were the 2 minutes that were recommended to check out. And maybe if we have enough time, I'll react to a short clip of a different part of it. So let's go.
Percent of sexual interactions.
No, but I think that 50% of people have had this sexual interaction.
But I'm asking in terms of if we were to classify all sexual interactions, would this be a common where people start off intercourse with one partner unconscious?
No.
Okay.
No. It's
so
not. It's not going to be something.
Saying.
It's not going to be. But that doesn't make it not common. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're quibbling now. Like we're saying the same thing.
I hope we are.
But maybe we can semantically. Maybe we can semantically get here.
I mean, why would? Okay. Yeah. You already answered.
Because I'm horny. That's why I do it.
Well.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy raping her. I enjoy it.
Having sex with someone unconscious?
My wife, yeah. Yeah, I like it waking her up that way. Yeah.
But you said if she didn't wake up, you would stop.
Yeah, you know what she does sometimes? She's like,
I don't.
She's like, And I'm like, yeah, that's right. And she's like, okay. I know. Yeah. She's like she can't believe this is happening. I've really shocked her. And then she just she's okay with it. Is that wild? Am I graping her?
I think without having some form of express consent, then yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I do this all the time.
Okay, let's talk about it. So, I guess there's about another 30 more seconds. That used to be a law that technically that was okay until not too long ago, depending on the state. There are still certain religions that believe that that's okay, that it's okay for a man to do that. This is really going to depend on their marriage. First of all, I don't really care about hearing anything that goes on in his bedroom situation. I don't care about that. But that's really just going to depend. And without getting into too much of my personal, I'm not married, but if I was, I would personally be okay with that. If I liked my husband, I would let him know before we got married. If we're married, hey, that's a part of the marriage that we, But it's also going to depend on the relationship. If it's an unhealthy, unstable relationship, that's bad. If it's a healthy, stable relationship and you guys both agree beforehand, this is the rule of our marriage. Also, Grant Cardone has talked about that same topic. Grant Cardone is I don't care if the woman is menstruating. I don't care if she, whatever, his way or the highway. And his wife is okay with that. Right? But he also pays for everything and is almost a billionaire now or something like that. And that was the agreement. She wants to be spoiled and she allows him to do whatever, and for other people, maybe it's not about the money. Maybe it's just a thing that they're in our marriage, they feel like they're going to be like that. So does that bother me? No. Do I care? No. The only thing that disturbs me about that is I don't really want to hear about him and his stuff, but to each their own. As a couple, they have probably come to the conclusion that that's okay with them, but they're married, right? So that really is a personal choice that you guys have to make as a husband and wife. And I know not everybody would agree with that. Some people would think absolutely not, under no circumstance. Other people, they're into some stuff.
Constantly.
Constantly?
I really do. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Constantly is crazy.
Yeah. Anytime I wake up with a boner, if she's not awake, she's definitely getting woke up that way.
Well, why? I'm curious. Why don't you just wake her up?
I am waking her up with my penis.
I'm asking before. I'm asking what is the purpose of waking her up?
I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I'm starting to get nauseous. I'm starting to get nauseous. I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. So, whatever happens there. I just can't. I can't. That's gross. So that's her man, right? That's her husband. That's what they do, and she probably likes it because she's married to him, and that's probably the agreement that they have. You know, that's just like that. That's how a lot of guys are like that, right? Oh, if I'm, that's just a guy thing. It depends on what you legally define as what they're talking about, right? Cancel that. Let me cross that part out where I just said it's just a guy thing. Cut that. It doesn't, let's rewind. Rewinding. It really depends on the type of relationship, the type of marriage, and what the couple lays out about the rules of their marriage. Pretty sure they have had a conversation about it at some point. Pretty sure exactly what he just said to that lady. He's talked to his wife about that, and she probably is like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, that's what they do. Okay, is that considered to be the extreme version? No, that's different if it's just like some lady that he's just met, or, you know, this is a whole different scenario. We're talking about what he likes to do. I'm done. I hope you guys understand this. Blech, gross. Don't like this guy. I think they do a lot of outrage bait. I think they do a lot of stuff that I don't really care to watch. You know, like feminist debates, misogynist about blah, blah, blah. Like, and as a social scientist as well, like putting on that hat for just a minute, there's always a middle. There's always far extreme here, far extreme there, and there's usually a middle, and typically in those types of programs, they cut out the middle. And I know it's for entertainment and stuff like that, but at the same time, here would be a middle. I'll give you 2 examples. Number 1, if he were to say, yeah, I do that, but her and I have agreed about it, we've talked about it, and she already knows how I am, right? That's number 1. Number 2, unconscious versus she's sleeping and he teases her and plays with her or whatever. Those are 2 different extremes. Those are 2 different things. It's when you use words like unconscious and the other word that they use that I'm not going to repeat, it basically is framing it mentally to sound one way. But the reality of the situation is, if she's sleeping and he wakes her up that way, depending on how you look at it, that could be considered to be erotic, playful, fun, based on type of relationship that they have, right? So again, it's not everything is black and white. Not everything is this extreme over here or this extreme over here. If his wife, on the other hand, is complaining about it, has filed domestic reports, has said, do not do this, he's crossing her boundaries, I don't agree to that. If that's what's going on, then it's not okay. I'm going to make this very clear because people like to take what I say out of context. If that's what's going on, if his wife said no and she said she doesn't like it and she says don't do it, that is not okay. All right? Making that very clear. If his wife says this is just how our marriage is and this is what we like to do, that's a different story, okay? So hopefully I've specified that enough times. I've repeated that 3 times. Do I think that's a bad person? I don't know. I think he's an entertainer, right? I think he's an entertainer, and I think he thrives off of outrage bait and tantalizing conversations, and maybe some people really enjoy that. I cannot sit through 5 minutes, I'm sorry, of hearing about what he likes to do with his wife. I hope you have an awesome, cool, fun, amazing rest of the day. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to chew me out or whatever, that's fine. You can. I think that's probably the wrong place to do it. If you want me to react to a more serious topic or something else that somebody else said or did, I will, and I will try my best to get through it without getting nauseous. And if you have something uplifting that you want to talk about, that's fine. Or just say nothing and I will talk about something else. Till next time, bye-bye.